Welcome to our 80th deep dive of the Crynet GenShow. I'm your host, and today, well, we are pulling back the curtain on a week that honestly felt like a Hollywood thriller.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, the sheer contrast of what just went down is wild.
Exactly. We're looking at a curated top 10 crypto news list from late March to early April 2026. And our mission today is to unpack this massive week where we saw bad actors literally flushed out by the feds, which is basically, making way for Wall Street's infrastructure to go primetime.
It's a massive shift for anyone holding these assets. You're watching this violent collision of two worlds. You've got federal law enforcement doing a massive sweep, and then traditional banking setting up permanent shop in the exact space they just cleared out.
So let's get right into that sweep, because the details of Operation Token Mirrors are, they're straight out of a movie. The DOJ indicted 10 foreign nationals from firms like GOTBIT, Vortex, and Antiochty.
Right, and they were caught wash trading.
Yeah, and for you listening, wash trading is basically a crypto developer selling a token back and forth to themselves just to create the illusion of massive trading demand.
Right, it's totally fake volume.
It is like an undercover cop setting up a fake casino or, a street performer, putting their own $20 bills into their tip jar over and over to trick the crowd. The FBI basically built a fake tip jar just to watch them do it.
That analogy hits the nail on the head. And, I mean, the reason this aggressive sting matters to your portfolio is simple. Big institutional money simply cannot and will not operate in a rigged casino.
No, they won't touch it.
Exactly. So flushing out these wash traders is the mandatory, honestly painful first step before traditional financial infrastructure can faithfully operate.
Right, and the international watchdogs are circling now, too. The IMF just issued a direct warning to central banks. They argued that while tokenized finance is incredibly efficient, that same speed means a market panic can transmit instantaneously.
Yeah, contagion. The IMF is looking at the speed of the blockchain and seeing a double-edged sword. They want central banks to anchor settlements to prevent a global panic.
Which brings us to the real plot twist here. Because the DOJ essentially just acted as the janitor for Wall Street. I mean, the minute those wash traders were swept out, the traditional giants walked right through the door.
He really did.
Coinbase just secured a conditional OCC national trust charter, but I have to push back here, though. Doesn't an OCC charter legally make Coinbase a traditional, federally recognized U.S. bank?
Technically, yeah. It puts them on that legal footing.
So if we're seeing that, plus Charles Schwab opening waitlists for direct Bitcoin and Ethereum trading, and CoinShares debuting on the Nasdaq via a $1.2 billion SPAC, I mean, aren't we just replacing crypto rebels with the exact Wall Street bankers this was designed to bypass?
Well, that is the ultimate trade-off we are witnessing right now. You are absolutely trading the original cypherpunk ethos of total decentralization for massive regulated liquidity.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, the mechanism of federal oversight is what unlocks the billions of dollars that were previously sidelined by corporate compliance officers. Legitimacy comes with a leash.
Legitimacy comes with a leash. I like that. And here's where it gets really interesting for you listening. Because with traditional infrastructure being built, where is the capital actually flowing?
Right, because headline prices look completely stagnant.
Exactly. Bitcoin is acting like a macro anchor right now, just stuck between $65,000 and $69,000 amidst all this geopolitical tension.
The surface looks flat, but the mechanics underneath are firing on all cylinders. I mean, institutions are treating this flat market as a massive loading zone for Q2.
Yeah, look at the specific sectors. AI tokens just exploded 30% to a $19 billion market cap.
Which is huge.
And Solana's decentralized exchange volume hit almost $87.8 billion. Circle is even building out DeFi plumbing with SurBTC.
And we can't ignore the supply squeeze either. BitMine just accumulated over 71,000 Ethereum for their treasury.
Wait, 71,000?
Over 71,000. And that isn't just a big number on a balance sheet. When massive miners decide to hold that much ETH instead of selling it to cover costs, they restrict the floating supply.
Oh, which creates a massive supply shock the moment retail demand actually returns.
Precisely. They are absorbing the available supply while the market sleeps. When you combine that with Schwab and Coinbase building the traditional on-ramps, the infrastructure is cemented.
So wrapping up this 80th deep dive, the takeaway for you is that the volatile Wild West days are rapidly closing, but the underlying structural growth is just massive.
It really is. Though, it does leave us with a fascinating paradox to consider.
What's that?
Well, we started by talking about the FBI coding their own tokens to trap manipulators, right? and the IMF demanding central banks anchor settlements to control panics.
Right. The government tip jar.
Yes. So if the very tools of decentralized finance are being actively co-opted by federal law enforcement to police the market, and central banks want absolute control over settlements, how much of this decentralized future will actually remain outside of government control?
That is something for you to chew on until our next deep dive. Stay sovereign, stay focused, and I'll see you in Deep Dive 81.